Hello, my friends. It's Nick. It's the ASMR nerd. And it feels good to say that. It feels good to do the intro because it's been a little while. As a matter of fact, this is my first video of 2025. So, Happy New Year. Kind of hard to believe, but I've had a bit of a hiatus here in my output, and that is because my wife and I have finally moved into our new house. So I'm in an all new space now, and on that note, you might notice a few differences. For starters, the background is a green screen. That is because, well, I am very excited to show you my new studio space here. It's not ready quite yet. Not quite ready yet. But you will be seeing it soon in videos and live streams. You might also notice that the audio is a little different. There's a little more reverb, a little more room noise. That's because this is a room full of hard surfaces right now. But I will be putting some audio treatment on the walls, put down a rug, that sort of thing. Try and make this a better recording space. So in the meantime, thank you for bearing with me. And I hope that this video still sounds good and is tingly and relaxing for you. But I'm very excited to share this new space with you. And I'm very excited for today's video talking about my most anticipated games of 2025. This is an annual tradition. I've done this for the last, I want to say 5 years running, where I look to the year ahead and we chat about the games that I am most looking forward to. You know, something else I'm really excited about though is sharing this video's sponsor with you, Helix Sleep. Sleep is, of course, a very relevant subject to many of you, dare I say, most of you watching these videos. I always say, I hope you find my videos interesting, but above all, I hope you find them relaxing. And part of getting a good sleep is having a good mattress, somewhere comfortable and customized to sleep. Well, Helix Sleep reached out to me and said, hey, would you like to check out one of our mattresses and have us sponsor one of your videos? And it just so happened that was just before my wife and I were looking to move into our new place, and we happened to be looking for a new mattress. And so I said, yeah, let's do it. That sounds awesome. I went on their website. I checked out what they had there. The great thing about Helix mattresses is that they allow you to customize them to your needs and preferences. This is really important because not everybody wants the same kind of mattress feel. My wife and I have specific needs in terms of firmness, in terms of cushioning, in terms of support, these kinds of things. So I went through the quiz on Helix's website and we found the perfect mattress for us. They sent it over, and I wasn't sure what it was going to be like to get a mattress in the mail, but it was super, super easy. It arrived on my doorstep in a nice box. I just opened it up, took it up on the bed, unrolled it from the plastic. It popped open. It was ready to go in like an hour or two. It took so little effort. There was no weird odor. It wasn't scary. It didn't like explode open or anything like that. It didn't come out like super squished. It was honestly like shockingly straightforward and easy to get it onto the bed and to start using it. And full disclosure, I've been using it for about a week now, but it's fantastic. It is without a doubt the most comfortable, the nicest, the fanciest mattress I've ever had the good luck of sleeping on. Last night, I slept like a log. It's also getting rave reviews from my wife, both of us are loving it so far. And like I said, the great thing is that we were able to customize it to our specific needs so that we could have the best sleep possible. Even better, you can rest easy with your purchase because Helix offers a 100-night sleep trial to test out the mattress and ensure that you love it. Helix mattresses also include a 10-year warranty, and they offer financing options and flexible payment plans. So, if you are in the market for a new mattress and upgrading your sleep experience with a customized mattress, make sure you check out what Helix has on offer. And right now, they have their New Year's sale last chance going on, which will net you 20% off your entire order, plus 2 free pillows. And that 20%, that makes a difference when you're talking about something like a mattress. So make sure that you take advantage of this sale on right now until January 31st, 2025. If you check out the link down below at the top of the video description, you will be supporting this channel and you will be saving yourself some major bucks on a beautiful, super fancy, super comfortable, customized to you new mattress. Upgrade your sleep this year with Helix Sleep using the link down below. Big thanks to Helix for sending over an amazingly comfortable mattress and for sponsoring this video. Not only is it awesome of Helix to sponsor this channel, but with the new mattress, I will hopefully be getting better, sounder sleeps and be bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and ready to make you guys more high-quality ASMR content. Now that I'm finally getting settled into our new place here. So, looking forward to it. And thank you again all for your patience. I know it's been a very, tumultuous past 12 months or so here on this channel compared to my norm. You know, I really do like to try and be consistent, and historically, I think I have been, but this last year has been a lot of life changes between weddings and houses and all that stuff. So thanks for being here. Thanks for sticking with me. Thanks for coming back. I'm really excited about the year to come. And I'm excited about this year's video games to come. So let's get into it. The way I do this is I run down 10 games from number 10 to my number 1 most anticipated game of the year. These are games that have to have had at least a release window announced for 2025. So it doesn't include games that have been announced but with no release window, or like a 2026 release window. It has to be something that is intended to be released sometime this calendar year. Now, of course, these are prone to slipping. Last year's list had a couple of games that have bled over into this year's list, or a couple of games, at least one game. Yeah, at least one game. No, maybe 2. Yeah, that's how it goes. So these are, of course, my personal preferences reflecting the kinds of games that I enjoy. Maybe you have a different list of games. I would love to also hear what you're looking forward to. Let me know down in the comments. I'd like to have a discussion with you there about what games we're hype about this year. And before I dive into my actual top 10, there are a few honorable mentions that I wanted to just mention really quick. Honorably mention. They didn't quite fit into the top 10 for one reason or another, but I thought they were worth bringing up. So really quickly, Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D. These are the HD 2D remakes of Dragon Quest 1 and 2, the classic JRPGs from the 80s. Dragon Quest III HD 2D launched just this past fall. It is fantastic. I've been loving it. It's especially excellent on Steam Deck. It is such a lovingly crafted and beautiful remaster of Dragon Quest III, which is one of my all-time favorite JRPGs, a game that I first played on the Game Boy Color. And the reason they put out the third game first is because chronologically it does come first. So HD 2D or Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D will be following in 2025, and they carry on after Dragon Quest 3. Makes sense? So we don't know exactly what these games are going to be yet, but because I don't think they've shown any footage, but I'm willing to bet that they're going to look and play a heck of a lot like Dragon Quest III HD 2D, which is why they didn't quite make my top 10, because as much as I am looking forward to them, because I do love those games, they're going to be a very known quantity. They're going to be pretty much the same thing we've already seen from Dragon Quest III HD 2D. So maybe a little less exciting because of that, but nonetheless, I'm sure that they will be really well done and very loving remakes of two excellent games. Well, one excellent game in Dragon Quest 1 and maybe one slightly less excellent game in Dragon Quest 2, but it was still pretty good. Those are, of course, being developed by Square Enix, and I believe are slated for all current gen consoles, coming out sometime in 2025. Another honorable mention goes to Winter Burrow. This one, I just wanted to shout it out. It didn't quite make my list, but I still wanted to shout it out. Or didn't quite make my top 10. It just looks really super cozy. It's like looks like a little top-down 2D survival game where you play as an adorable little mouse in a wintry forested landscape, getting to know the local creatures. It has real Redwall vibes, and I'm a sucker for anything like that. So that is just something that looks really cute and something I am looking forward to this year. That's being developed by Pine Creek Games, coming out on PC and the Xbox Series sometime this year. Tales of the Shire. This is a cozy life sim set in Middle-earth, specifically in the Shire. And you get to live your life as a little hobbit in the village of Bywater and do all those life sim things like farming and cooking and decorating and getting to know all the locals and fishing and all that kind of stuff. And it looks really charming. This did make my list last year because it was originally slated for a 2024 release. It got pushed back into, I believe, March of this year, I think. Or the first half of this year, at least, I believe. And the only reason it is not making my top 10 is because there were some early previews that came out last year, and they were pretty mixed, I would say. The reception was a bit lukewarm. A few people seemed to like it a lot. Others seemed to think it was a bit lacking. So I'm really hoping that Weta Workshop, the games development division at Weta Workshop, will be able to tighten it up a little bit and really make it the game that it deserves to be, because honestly, it sounds like a slam dunk to me. Like a cozy life sim set in the Shire where I just get to live out my dreams of being a hobbit sounds amazing. So I hope that it lives up to that promise. That is coming out for both current and last gen systems. And the final honorable mention here before we actually get into the real list is Skyblivion. Skyblivion. And for those of you who have not heard of this, Skyblivion is a mod. It is a mod for Skyrim, and it is rebuilding the entirety of Oblivion, the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, in Skyrim, in the Skyrim engine. So it's less of a mod and more of a total conversion. And this project has been alive in some form or another for the past decade, if you can believe it. Although the most sort of modern, current incarnation, I believe, was begun in earnest about 6 or 7 years ago. Nonetheless, that's a long time for a community-driven project to be going full steam ahead. And it looks like we are genuinely going to have a full release of Skyblivion this year, 2025. The Skyblivion team has been doing phenomenal work. You can check it out on Rebel Zeise's channel. Rebel Zeiss is one of the project leaders who puts out update videos and live streams. But they've been putting out regular update videos quantifying their progress across all the different areas of this mammoth endeavor. And it truly is a spectacular looking remake. Not only are they lovingly recreating the entire world space of Oblivion, all of the skills and equipment, weapons, quests, NPCs, all of it, they are also going so far as to redesign all of the dungeons and caves in Oblivion, which for the purists out there might be a turn off, but for me, I really think that's a very a wise choice, because having played Oblivion very recently, those original dungeons, especially the caves, are really not that exciting. They're pretty bland by modern standards, and taking the opportunity to redesign all of those dungeons really gets me excited for this remake. But yeah, it's just looking phenomenal. The amount of work that's going into it is unbelievable. The level of coordination required between volunteers over such a long period of time is truly mind-blowing. So it didn't make my top 10 list because it's technically a mod, I guess. I mean, it's my list. I can put whatever I want on it, I guess, but it seemed like slightly against the spirit of the list in a sense. But it is without a doubt one of the things I am most looking forward to playing in 2025. That is, of course, coming exclusively to PC. I do not think it will be coming to Xbox. That would be some unbelievable wizardry if they found a way to do that. But never say never. Never say never, I guess. Okay, here we are, 20 minutes or whatever into the video. And we're only just hitting my actual top 10. That's okay, though. Starting at number 10 on the list, Grand Theft Auto 6. Yes, the meme to end all meme games is finally arriving. Not that it's a meme game, but the meme that it's taken this dang long to finally arrive. GTA 5 was what, like 2013? Is that right? Perhaps only the Elder Scrolls series is more notorious than GTA for the gap between their last magnum opus and their next one. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking, Nick, how is GTA 6 only your number 10 slot? Because for many of you, I suspect it will be right up there at number 1. And I respect that. I really do. But I have a confession to make. I have never played a GTA game for more than a couple hours, ever. I've never got into a GTA game beyond just the opening couple hours. And I think it's just because they're just, to me, it's not a super interesting setting. And obviously the setting is different in each one, but I guess like modern urban crime games are not all that exciting to me. And again, that's just personal preference. But of course, I respect the series' place in the pantheon of great video games. I mean, like GTA 5 is still continually, to this day, a top seller every year, like top 20, which is mind-blowing. And I think I wanted to put GTA 6 on this list purely from an academic standpoint, because after all these years and after all this hype, I just want to see what that game is. And who knows? Maybe this will be the one that finally hooks me. Maybe. It's possible. But we shall see. I intend to check it out regardless. Out of professional interest. Also, could be a really great world space for some ASMR wandering. We'll just have to see. Certainly many people have done ASMR videos with GTA 5. A friend of the channel, Jubilee Whispers, does a lot of GTA 5 ASMR. She does a great job of it. So we shall see. We shall see. That is, of course, coming from Rockstar Games. Currently announced for PS5 and Xbox Series X and S. I suspect it will come to PC at some point down the road if Rockstar's past business strategy is any indication, but it might be a little while. It could be a year or more before we see it on PC. We shall see. Number 9 on my list here is Fable. The Fable reboot, remake. It's not a remake. It's like a soft reboot, I guess. This game has been teased since, I want to say 2023. It is being developed by Playground Games. They of the Forza Horizon series. And everything that I've seen so far has looked really, really fun. My experience with Fable is maybe a little different than many. I quite enjoyed the first game, but I never played beyond it. So I know for many Fable 2 is a favorite, or Fable 3. But for me, it was Fable 1. And, what they're showing, I mean, it looks beautiful for starters. It looks like it has a very wonderfully dry sense of British humor. And they've not shown much in the way of actual gameplay, which is kind of concerning. But I'm sure we will see much more of that as we get closer to its release, which is scheduled for sometime in 2025. But that could be a late year release. So we've got plenty of time to see more of the new Fable. That is coming to PC and the Xbox X and Series X and S. Number 8 on my list, and I went kind of back and forth on where this one should be, but this is where it fell. Number 8 is Judas. Judas. This is the new game from Ken Levine, former lead designer on or director for the BioShock games at Irrational. And it's been a long time since Ken Levine has put out a game that he is helming, or put out a game at all. He left Irrational to found Ghost Story Games years ago. I want to say like 8+ years ago now. That could be wrong, but I feel like it is about 8 years. And they've been hammering away on this project called Judas since then. We recently learned a lot more about it, recently as in last year. And it looks like it is very, very Bioshock-ish in many ways. But primarily, it looks like it's really pushing forward Ken Levine's concept of narrative Legos in a game where there is a real opportunity for the player to completely change the outcome of the story, the way things play out through their actions, and for the story and the game world to react in truly dynamic ways. Now, stop me if you've heard this before. Like, this has been a pitch for many designers across many games over many years. But what they have shown of Judas makes it look like maybe this will be the one to finally really crack that nut and to really deliver on that promise. We'll see, but I feel like if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be Ken Levine, because he's very committed to this philosophy. And what they have shown does look really compelling. It's got a really fascinating, visual style. Again, it has strong echoes of BioShock, both visually and in terms of the setting. We are now no longer under the sea. We are now in space. I think it would be safe to call it a spiritual successor to BioShock. I feel like maybe Ken Levine has tried to sort of say, well, no, it's not really, but if you watch the gameplay, it's pretty hard to come away from it thinking anything else. So, but we shall see. We shall see. That's Judas coming out in, well, the early part of this year. I believe in an interview, someone from Ghost Story Games committed to saying the game was going to come out by March, but we don't have a confirmed release date yet, and I feel like we're getting awfully close to March of 2025. Here we are in late January now, so maybe that game slips. I would not be surprised if we saw that slip into later in the year. All right, at number 7, I have Light No Fire. Light No Fire. This is the new fantasy survival game from Hello Games, they of No Man's Sky. And this game has somewhat dismissively, somewhat tongue-in-cheek been called No Man's Skyrim, because it does look awfully a lot like taking the No Man's Sky concept and plopping it into a high fantasy medieval setting. It is another one of these procedurally generated worlds with infinite landscapes to go and explore with your friends and to survive in and settle. It sure looks slick. Hello Games really knows how to make good trailers, how to make big promises. famously, of course, they didn't quite deliver on those promises at the launch of No Man's Sky. But perhaps equally famously, or even more so now, Hello Games is known for their incredible support of No Man's Sky and turning that ship around and creating something truly special that many, many people love, and supporting that game for years and years after launch. They're still adding giant gobs of content with, quite some regularity. So, what does that mean for Light No Fire? I hope it means that they can apply some of the lessons that they have learned over the last, 8 years now? 9 years? Wait, when did No Man's Sky come out? I need to look this up. I'm going to look it up right now because, gosh, 2016. Oh my gosh, No Man's Sky is going to turn 9 years old this summer. What the heck? Yeah, I'm sure they've done a lot of learning as a studio development team since then. So I'm sure that they can also bring some of their tech advancements into Light No Fire. So I think that could be a really cool thing. They haven't showed a whole lot of gameplay as far as I know. It's all been pretty high level, kind of glossy trailer stuff. But I'm certainly curious to learn more about Light No Fire. That is coming to PC sometime this year. At number 6, I have Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. This is the follow-up to Kingdom Come Deliverance from Warhorse Studios. Kingdom Come Deliverance is a game that I must go back to. I played a fair chunk of it back in the day, and I really did enjoy its very grounded take on a medieval RPG. It had a quirkiness about it and this groundedness. There's no magic. It is all set in a ostensibly historically accurate, medieval setting. It had some very fun performance capture, and a compelling, swath of medieval countryside to explore. And for Deliverance 2, it looks like Warhorse Studios is taking all that and just amping it up for greater and more and better. I never finished the original game, so I'm going to have to get caught up on the story of Henry and where that all ended up before I jump into Deliverance 2, I suppose. That is coming up quick. That is coming out February 4th. So chances of me being able to actually play through the first game before the second one drops, pretty slim. But I'm looking forward to wandering through a beautiful recreation of medieval Europe. The first game was gorgeous. The second game looks phenomenal. I am sure that will provide some excellent ASMR wandering opportunities. That is coming out on PC, PS5, and the Xbox Series. All right, halfway through the list. Number 5, Doom, The Dark Ages. This one coming from id Software. We got our first look at Doom, The Dark Ages during Microsoft's Summer Games Showcase last summer. And this looks really good. This looks like a very fun evolution of the modern, rebooted Doom style, but maybe a bit less frantic than Doom Eternal. but some really fun medieval flavor to it. And all the demon destruction you could possibly want. It just looks like a good old time. I am very much up for a new balls to the wall shooter from id. So that's coming out sometime this year. No specific announced date, for PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S. Number 4. This one, I did toy with putting it higher up, but number 4, Pokemon Legends ZA. This is presumably the next Pokemon game coming out. We've seen very little of what this is, but what we do know is that it's another Pokemon Legends game, and Pokemon Legends Arceus is my most favorite Pokemon game of recent times. I have just bounced off of the last couple of generations of the core series of Pokemon games. They just have not managed to get their hooks into me. But Pokemon Legends Arceus was a really cool departure, and I really enjoyed a lot of what it was doing. Pokemon Legends ZA looks to be carrying forward that more innovative take on Pokemon, but rather than being set in the... Well, my stomach is excited about it too. Rather than being set in the past, in a rural setting, Legends ZA is set in a modern urban setting. In fact, it's going to completely take place in one city. And I'm trying to remember the name of that city. It's the city from Kalos. I think it's Lumios City. Is that right? I'm sure someone in the comments is going to correct me on that, but I think it's Lumois City, maybe. Yeah, a big urban center. What that actually means for the game, how it's going to play, how they're going to have an entire Pokemon game in one city, I have no idea. But what it sounds like is something different. It sounds interesting and different, and that is what I'm looking for from the Pokemon franchise these days. So, Game Freak, I hope you knock it out of the park. And they've been taking their time on this one as well. Interesting question, of course, being, does that launch for Switch or Switch 2, which was recently announced? We don't have a launch date for Switch 2 yet, but signs are pointing towards perhaps a June or July release. I would not be surprised if Pokemon Legends ZA was a cross-gen game where you can get it for Switch or Switch 2, and on Switch 2 maybe it just runs in a enhanced graphics version or something. But anyway, it's exciting. It's looking like a fresh development in the Pokemon series. Perhaps the first Pokemon game to launch on Switch 2 as well. And that's worth being hyped for. All right. We're cracking the top 3 here. My number 3 most anticipated game of 2025, Assassin's Creed Shadows. Yes, I'm a sucker for a good Assassin's Creed game, a Ubisoft open world collect-a-thon game. Yeah, it's just my kind of game. Assassin's Creed Shadows, in particular, has had a seemingly troubled last year or so of development. It seemed, and I say that, I don't know if the actual development of the game has been troubled, but certainly the discourse and the public opinion around this game has not been very favorable. But I have to say, the content they've been putting out lately, the videos they've been showing, look really good. I personally think it looks really good. It looks like just what I want out of an Assassin's Creed game set in feudal Japan. The world looks beautiful. It looks rich and artistic. The two divergent play styles of the two main characters look interesting. I'm ready for whatever this is going to be. This is being developed by Ubisoft Quebec, which is the studio that put out what is arguably the best Assassin's Creed game of the last long while, recent history, AC Odyssey. Although if you ask me, I might say AC Origins was just a little bit better, maybe. But I think this team has the chops to put out an exceptional game. I just hope that Ubisoft Corporate has let them cook. I hope they've let them do what they do best. They have pushed back the launch of the game a couple of times now. As far as I'm concerned, that is a good sign. From a corporate perspective, I think Ubisoft is in deep trouble. I think they need this to hit. I think they're doing everything they can to make sure it does. So I think that bodes well for this being a really excellent Assassin's Creed game. So, fingers crossed, fingers crossed. I think this could be a really special one. That is coming out on PC, PS5, and current gen Xbox on March 20th. So we don't have long to wait. Coming in at number 2 on my list is the same game that was at number 2 on my list last year. That is Avowed from Obsidian Entertainment. Avowed was pushed out of last year into this year. It's launching February 18th. And I think it's looking really good. I have gone and watched some video footage and some impressions, videos and that kind of thing. And I really think that Obsidian has some pretty awesome looking on their hands here. This is a first-person RPG set in the Pillars of Eternity world of Eora. And it's open world-ish, but my understanding is it's actually a bit more of a hub and spoke kind of design, with sort of self-contained areas, branching off of a centralized hub. I think that's the impression I got. But yeah, what they're showing looks really good. Gameplay looks good. Writing looks good. Of course, that's key with an Obsidian game. Just, I think there's a lot of promise here. I'm really up for a good first-person RPG with some excellent, writing chops behind it, and apparently some really top-tier exploration as well, which for me is really crucial. So I hope that they really nail it. I mean, I hope all these games do well. I hope all these developers nail it, of course. But yeah, that's coming out for PC and current gen Xbox. And finally, I'm gonna have to go get a snack after this. Finally, my number one game. If you noticed a very obvious omission so far, my number one most anticipated game of the year is Civilization 7. How could it not be? I've played every entry in the Civ series since the first game. This series, in its various forms, has consumed probably thousands of hours of my life. And Civ 7 is looking to be a really big shakeup of the Civ formula. What they're doing with having, changing your Civ in each of the 3 eras and having different Civs in each era to select from. and the whole way that kind of rolls into, the cyclical nature of history and of, culture and civilizations overlaying, what has come before. I think that all looks really cool. I think the changes they're making with cities and acquiring tiles and towns and buildings and districts and all that stuff looks really cool. I think decoupling leaders from civs is an interesting choice. I see why they've done it. I think I still rail against it a little bit just from like a flavor perspective, but I see why they've done it. I think from a gameplay perspective, it's probably the right choice. But it seems like, above all, they took a really long, hard, critical look at what makes Civ games great and what makes them less great. Where people are falling off those games. And they've really done their best to address those friction points, to hopefully create a game that is more compelling all the way through the entire arc of history. Not just, the beginning stages of the game, which is, historically, no pun intended, my favorite part of the game as well. Those earlier parts of the game. So, Civilization 7, the latest entry in the storied series from Firaxis Games, launching on, looks like all current and last gen consoles, I think, and systems, on February 11th, coming up very soon. So you will certainly see some Civ 7 content here on the channel in the form of videos and live streams, probably. So something to look forward to. And that is that. That is my top 10 plus a few most anticipated games of 2025. Towards the end of the year, November or early December, we will revisit this list and we will discuss whether these games delivered, whether they lived up to expectations. We will, of course, be experiencing them throughout the course of the year and assessing them as we go. But towards the end of the year, we will come back to this list and see how they did. But for now, I would love to hear from you. I would love to know in the comments, what are your most anticipated games of 2025? Are any of my games on your list? Or are you looking forward to completely different stuff? I'm curious to know. So please leave a comment down below. All right, friends. Thanks again for joining me. Happy New Year once more. And I look very forward to having you back here next time. Farewell for now. Congratulations, you've reached the part of the video where we give thanks to our very special channel supporters, those individuals that you see listed right here. These fantastic folks deserve extra special thanks at this point in time because they have been so patient, while I've been moving house, while I dealt with some health issues last year. Our supporters have been a little bit neglected. I hate to say it, but I really do feel that way. But they have been unwaveringly supportive throughout it all, and that means so very much to me. I am so thankful for their generosity, for believing in me and this channel and the content that I create, and wanting to support it even through a bit of a rough patch. So genuinely, thank you, supporters. You're incredible. It means so much to me. If you, dear viewer or listener, are listening or watching right now, and you would like to support the content that I create here and its continued creation into a new and hopefully more productive and more consistent year, You can find some links down below at the top of the video description to both my Patreon and my YouTube memberships. There you will find 3 different tiers. They offer equivalent perks on each platform. And I'm sure one of those tiers is right for you. One of those tiers, the Fusro Da tier, gets a very special spoken shout out in every single one of my videos. Now, that is something I have been consistent on. These individuals deserve it and much more. So, let's give special thanks to our Fusro Da tier supporters right now. Starting with Odinson, Drummer Brit, Jake Luffney, Ragnar Ragnarsson, Brucey B3D Buchner, Alien Test Subject X59ZY, aka Captain Vanquisher, and Joe. An incredible collection of individuals. As I said, I cannot thank them enough. Once more, a big, heartfelt thank you to all this channel's amazing supporters.